Hello and welcome to another tutorial video. Now it's pretty much going to be a breakdown of the other two videos I did previously, the years past, just going to combine them together in one new updated video, which is essentially going to cover the same thing. So in this video, it's going to be focusing on color separation and why you should do it and why you need it and the purpose of it, and making pals because some of you have been interested in, you want to do more than just watch me or wait for me to do things. So I'm giving you this video to teach you some basic skills you can learn and implement on anything, on your own stuff, etc. But you can, anytime anyone posts like they need colors, you can help them out by making colors. So for this example, we're going to use Mr. Terry Bogard here. Alright, so color change, color edit mode. Just looking at these without looking at the images in the back, you can just tell that these are just the different colors of his limbs, etc., his clothing items and whatnot. In this game specifically, it actually shows you what will change though. It's not like that in all games, and it's not like that in Fighter Factory either. You're just gonna have to manually use a tool to see where it goes what. So anyways, here we can see in the images on the right that changing these are basically his skin colors, right? So it's gonna change that, like the main shades, the outlines, etc. And the limit to it being a limited amount of colors on here, everything is shared, right? So color separation is making it so each individual item has its own group of colors. You're separating it so you can make the hat blue and the vest green and the shoes black, whatever. You can do various things, and I'm gonna get to that later, but basically that is why you would separate it. And it depends on the character, but some characters, for example, I think it's like Ryu, for example, like one of his colors, it changes his iris color or the eyeball. So you can't change, like the color has to be white all the time or whatever, something like that. But yes, and then the same example I'm gonna give. So if I want to just change the hat, let's try it here. As we see, that's not gonna happen because it's going to change everything. See? Everything is linked together, and you can't do it in this game, you can't separate it, but we are going to show you how to do that. And then like this is the hair and the belt. So whatever color you change his hair to, that's the same color that little belt buckle will change to as well. But then you see you can't fully change his hair because a part of it is still linked to his skin color. So you can't fully change his hair color. So after looking at that example, we're gonna head on over to Fighter Factory CVS2 until we meet again. So let's see here. Here we have Fighter Factory, and here we have CVS Terry, which is those same sprites from CVS2. So first thing first, what you need to get started with this is Fighter Factory. There are various versions of Fighter Factory, and which version you use is your preference. There's Fighter Factory 3 that I use, Ultimate, and the newest version, Fighter Factory Studio. I personally use this one still because I've just been using it for such a long time, and I'm just familiar with it. Nothing wrong with the new one. I just haven't taken time to fully get adjusted to it. But yes, your preference, I'll put some of those links in the description. But once you download Fighter Factory and get it all installed, you're gonna open up your character, which is right here. You see on the project tab, you just go to open, then you go to that character's dev file, and then you open it up, and then it's gonna load all of the sprites, and then you could just hold the arrow forward here, and then you could just cycle through the sprites. Alright, so let's just look at this really quickly. So you see how his eyeball is shared with the lightest tone of his skin color, and his eyeball is with his gloves and pants, etc. Whatever, we already established that everything is shared, so we're gonna open up this palette editor here, or not the palette editor, the image editor, and let's look at the palette. So looking here at the bottom, starting this way in reverse, it is the same amount of colors that we just looked at in CVS2. So basically this character has no separation, the same as we just looked at. So firstly, I'm going to show you how to make, even if you don't do any separation, if you wanted to, for example, just change this all blue, there are various ways you can go about doing this, and I'm going to show you. I always forget to turn that off, dang. But anyways, yes, to turn this blue, various ways. Yes. Okay, so open up the image editor here and change it, show that window. Alright, so now we open the advanced palette editor, and that's just a little paintbrush, not paintbrush tool, you know, little tool with all the colors on it right here that you can see. But once you open that, I am going to select the 4 slots that are the red, and you can use these tools, they're pretty self-explanatory. You see this zoom, or if you hover over it, it'll tell you what the tool does. But anyways, let's just keep it right here. So I click on this first color because it's going in reverse, the colors here, and it always starts with lightest to darkest, and that's basically your shades, shadows. With any type of art, you know, you gotta have your light sources. So I click here and then I hold shift to select all. It's basically gonna, your start point and your end point is what you click on. So I select it all. And then one way to do this is just going right here. It says blue to red. These are just some preset tools that you can use. Blue to red, blue to green, green to red, etc. Lighter, darker, monochrome, fire, sapphire, stone. So for example, if you change blue to red, it's going to change all colors that are red to blue, or vice versa. So there you go. Easily, I just made a different color for Terry. And that's how you can do it with a lot of your colors. So say if I revert it back and then do green to red, there you go. Now he has another different color. That's green. And you can do this various ways. Let me see here. Okay, it has to have like a hint of a different color in it to work like that. But let's change it back to normal. Okay, so that was one way to do it. The next way we're going to do it, you can use the hue saturation bar here. So literally using this, it's just gonna cycle through the colors. So going this way, you see like here, it goes up, and it goes reverse. But for some reason, I noticed that whenever you're doing this, if your color is red, it won't change all of the colors, but if you change it blue, then it'll work as intended. So I can just cycle through the colors, you see, like that. So using this slider, this is one way to do it, and then you could get your different colors. See, I got a purple, light blue, etc. just by sliding it down like that, yellow, orange, and back to red. So that is another way of doing it. The next way of doing it is using the RGB. So this is like what we just looked at. When you raise the red, you lower the blue, whatever. This is exactly the same thing. So if I just took down all the red, we have the same color that I just made in CVS2. So these bars are identical. It's just that because there's no color editor inside of any Mugans or whatever, we have this third-party program which can do and accomplish the same thing. So that pretty much is it. With this, you can just play around with it and get the colors that you desire. This is another way of doing it. You could even use all three in conjunction. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to look at a Terry that is color separated. So let's just go through here and just look at some of the things that I pointed out before so we can see how certain things are shared with one another. I just want to get one with his eyes showing. So here we go. So you see his hair also, right? Let's open up this image editor once again. Hold on a second. Let me bring it up here. Alright. So once you open the image editor, same thing. Once you hover over these tools, it shows you what they do to move the canvas, to when you select an item, to move it inside of the little box here. And then what we're going to use right now, these other tools you can use as well. I'm going to go over them if you need to use them. For example, when you see certain items, you're going to need to use this pencil here just to change one pixel. For example, if I was just changing the eyeball, you see now he has a white eye, like the white of his eyes, because right now, let's go to this color picker tool. By clicking this here, it shows you where that color is on the table. So I'm making sure it's showing on the screen. So yes, so I click on here, it shows you where that is on the table. I click on this hair right here, he has one color for his hair. This right here is shared with his skin. So that means if I wanted to, let's make Terry like darker, let's make him black. Let's see here. So hold up, let me switch the screen again. Go back to the advanced palette editor. So let me see here. Whoopsies, I'm gonna zoom in. Oops, wrong button. Let's make this boy albino. Anyways, you see, making him darker. It's also changing that hair as well, you see? It's shared. And changing his skin is also changing his eye, the inside of his eye. And the iris is shared with whatever color jeans and gloves he has. Hopefully you guys are able to see that. Let me see. Yeah, that's good. But yes, you can see that it's changing everything. So yes, this character is not CS. CS is short for color separation. You'll notice that I say CS a lot in others because it means color separation, just an acronym. So here we have Terry from CSX looking all clean, because this is basically, I have a PAL scheme I use for all of my characters, which is to make them look similar, to make them blend better. That's all that is. And I just basically try to make an updated version of the old school pals. So let's take a look at his color separation, shall we? So boom, we see here Terry's color separation. So this is, his arms are cut right here, so now he can have short sleeves, now he can have long sleeves. His pants are separate, his shoes, gloves, fingers, hat, and hair, all different. So your goal when you're CSing a character is to separate as much as you possibly can to allow you to, you basically just maximize like your power potential, like what you can do with colors. You can, that's how we make costumes and things like that, by drawing things on like this, for example, or just CSing the character fully. Now let's just look at some pals so we can see some examples of it in use. So for example, here we have this like cutoff short sleeve, kind of reminiscent to like how he looked in the older games, how his cuffs were rolled up to that point. That's what I was going for. That's why I wanted to do that part like that. And then let's see, some of these are just reference colors to his other colors and other appearances, but basically just look at how dynamic the colors look, and they just look so full and vibrant. That's how I and others utilize older assets, but we make them look new again. That's why they look so dramatically different in these videos that you see, is because we are applying this technique. So for example, this color was from Fated Fairy Wild Ambition. And I'm going to show you guys also how I personally just make the colors. What I don't really need to show you is not a secret strategy. All I do is look at an image and then just try to make the color from that. That's it. There's really no secret to it, I guess. And then basically how his classic look from King of Fighters. His Garo look. But you see now he has full sleeves. I'm gonna just move this along so you can see. And I basically, like this for example, I just made an alternate stance because you know how his eyes are never showing because he has the hat obviously. I did something like I just made it so his eyeball was showing just to see how it would look. And I did that on some of the other sprites as well that he may not normally have it. But as you can see, it looks like obviously the colors are still here, like his jacket thingy, his fluffs are still there. It's not perfect. Obviously with color separation, you just do the best you can. It's a manipulation technique because not 100% of the time are you always manually re-spriting something. You're just making it look as if it were like that. Like you guys seen it in games when they just do different reference colors or whatever. Oh well, this is because I didn't separate the arms on that one. But anyways, yes. And blue eyes. For me personally, it just adds more depth to the character, just makes it cooler. But I mean, to each their own. I just think it looks better when his hair is all, he has like multiple colors for his hair now. It doesn't look all bougie, it's not shared with the skin. If I wanted to make him black, I can. Hold on a second, let me see. Let's make a black Terry Bogard. Okay, hold up. Let me see here. Let me find that daily. Just use those skin colors. So boom, change this. Boom. But you see now it's not changing his hair or anything, right? Now you can do things like that without having to worry because every item has its own color. So you can change everything individually and it won't mess it up. Now you have way more options to make cool custom colors. And that's your goal, to make as many custom colors as you can. Replicate costumes that we could normally not because of sprite limitations. You've seen that with Ryo, with his gloves and things like that. That stuff is drawn on. Let me see here, let me show an example. I also did that with Makoto. I was in the process of doing that. Let me show you here. So through us just being the artists that we are, you can do things like that. You can manually draw things onto the character to give them even more options. Like I was drawing the foot guards on her and the gloves. And you do have to do it for every single sprite though. That's the thing when you do color separation. It is a long, tedious process. And especially for a character like this, from Third Strike, if you guys aren't aware, characters from Third Strike have so many animations, and this character is literally the perfect example because her frames that she has in each of her movements are so smooth. And this is what I mean when I say about characters in the sprites. Basically the amount of frames that they have in each attack, that's how you make the attack look smooth, because it's showing all the force of her winding, like before she throws the punch, boom, and then also the wind and all of the movement from her clothes. That is what makes a solid frame. And that's why I say certain characters are just not applicable for this stuff because it just won't look right. Oh, let me show you some pals, for example, that I made for her. I was in the process, but look, anyways here, firstly, for example, I just remade all of her Third Strike pals. And it's like a Neo version of them. It's not an exact replica. It's like using the CSX like colors, that's basically I just remake those colors. See, there's an error there on those sprites right there. But yes, like this one is a remake of the Third Strike Pal, but of course she has like a CVS one and the other default one that I made. But anyways, all of her classic colors, I tried to make those, and of course they all have the tendon on it, tendon or whatever. This one has the classic kind of glowy orange, and it's through CS that we can do this and make it look as smooth as it is. So for example, let's look at some of the pals I made. So this is yeah, one of the ones I made, but no, it's not this one. Yes, like this one here. Yes, with the gloves and everything on there. And then hold on, I have a better one. Yeah, like this one, that Ryu. So I try to make it look like this was a headband. Obviously it goes around her neck, but I was just giving her a headband, obviously the gloves and the foot guards as well. That's just an example of what we do, expanding our options and what we can do by doing things like that. And to do that, all I literally did is drew on top of it. And all of you, I don't really know how to draw that good, so that is up to you what you want to do. If I wanted to give her a mask or something, for example, let's see here, let me open this tool again, the image editor. So I'm not really gonna try to do it all perfect but this is her skin right here. So let's use what we learned using the color picker, right? I'm gonna click on her face. It shows me where these colors are on this table here below. Make sure you can see that. Okay, yep. So I'm going to use this here, the remap pin, and what this does is you select colors that go into these slots here on the bottom left. So I'm gonna right click these, right, like just go down and select all of them. On the newer version of Fighter Factory Studio, you have more colors to use than on Fighter Factory 3. And some may prefer that, but I still use this one, Fighter Factory 3. And then next, I'm going to choose, so these red colors, these are already used for something else. Let's see what they're used for. So they are used for her little thing right here. So I'm going to select those. If you were separating, you would use a different, like you would make a new row of colors. So for, like if I were making a mask, say, I would want a different set of colors, because why would I make them be shared with each other? So I'm gonna left click these as I right click the other ones. Okay, so now that we have these colors on the left side, these colors on the right side, this is what this means. If I right click, it's gonna change it to the colors on the right. If I left click, it's gonna change it to the colors on the left. This is what you do to separate a mask area at one time. So if I were to do this, you see that? That is how you do that, and that is what the remap pin does. So you can do bigger areas at a time. And you see, pressing the other side, it goes back. But I mean, I said it vice versa. You're supposed to press the right click for one way, left click for the other way. Either way, you get it, same thing. Pressing one way changes all the colors, and it's only gonna change the colors that you have selected here. So it's like you're changing this color with this one with that one, this one with that one. Each of the shades going down. That is what that means. See how this is changing this too because it's red. But if I go down to the feet and I try to change it, it's not going to change it because this is its own separate color. It's red just because of the PAL that I was making. But anyways, yes. So when you're separating a character, that's literally what you're doing. That's the main thing. You're selecting a set of colors and you're changing them individually to give them each their own color table, their own little group of colors. That's what CS is. So let's go back to, let's put the default power back on, whatever. Let's go back to Terry. So here we have Terry. I'm just going to show you an example using these old CVS sprites if I were to CS them, okay? So first thing you want to do is open your advanced palette editor, which is this one right here. This is the one I was talking about. This little brush, or it's not, I keep saying a brush, I don't know what to call it, a paint table, whatever. This is the advanced palette editor. So you click it and then hold up. I gotta, every time I gotta open it on OBS and make sure it changes the window. So now we have the advanced palette editor open. So what you want to do when you want to start CSing, so it's different which character you use, and because the sprites are going to have their own palette, excuse me, whether you rip them or you use another SSF that someone else already made, there's already going to be colors on that table. And these here are organized, but they're not always going to be organized. So usually when you CS, you're going to be re-CSing a lot of things here. So for example, I'm just going to, well, I'm going to show you how to do it if you were doing it manually, because you can do it a shortcut, and I'll show you both ways. So a shortcut would be, if you have another character that already has colors, you could just take them from them. And let me show you that here first. So here I am. So first you click on image or palette, then you go to open, and then I'm gonna go to a different character, and I'm gonna open up their pal. So you see it there. I just opened up Terry CS on my Terry. So this is the FX color at the top, this other FX color, and then these are the CS colors. So if I wanted to just, this is just faster. If you don't, I mean, it really doesn't make a difference which way you do it, but if you have, like when you're making pals, for example, if you want to give, for me, for example, because I'm trying to make a full game, I borrow the same colors for all of the characters so that everyone who has a red color is the same shade of red. That's why it looks as though everything blends like that, is because everything is using the same tones. It's consistent. That's how you get that just looking symmetric. Like, I don't know. Let me see here. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to take this green right here, and I'm going to select the first one, and I'm going to hold shift, select all of them. And then this tool right here, like I said, if you hover over it, it sends selected colors to the left side. That's all these tools do. This sends it to the left. If you do it over here to the right, this sends it to the right. This selects a block of them, like a selection, and this does the same thing. That's all these do, send them from one side to the other. So I'm gonna select 4 slots over here, and then I am going to, well, first let me do it this way. I'm gonna do the skin first. I'll put the skin over there. So this is basically if I were trying to make a new palette, because like if it were not organized, I would select the colors individually and put them in order, and then drag them over here, and so that they're in order. And then the eyes, the hair, but basically yes, I'm just doing it this way, part way, to show you. If you were not doing it this way, all you would be doing is selecting 4 blocks and then using these RGB bars or the hue saturation to create these little just different rows of colors. That's it. The only difference me doing it this way is just like a shortcut because I already did it already. But if you were just starting off, it doesn't matter what colors you use, you just make different groups of colors that you're gonna remember what goes what. That's it. It's not like it has to be a certain color or anything. It's just for you, so you're able to tell what is what, like what you separated. Like you will be able to identify the colors by what you used. Anyways, yes, I dragged those over. Oopsies. Okay, so let us begin. So I'm gonna open the image editor, and I gotta go over here on OBS. Alright, so let us begin. So first thing I always start with is just a preference. I always start with the eyes first. So I am, wait, let me make sure it's on the screen so you can see it. Let me try to, oh, it's already zoomed in all the way, sorry. You should still be able to see it. But anyways, okay, so first thing first, I'm selecting the white in his eyes. And the way I do it with all of my tables, I organize them as such: skin, eyes, hair, whatever else. That's just how I do it for me. It's just easiest. It really doesn't matter, but I just like my things to be in order like that. So boom, that's for the eyes. This is for the iris. Boom, now he has his proper eye color. And you have to do this to all of the sprites. You see, I go to the next one, I have to do the same thing to all of them, every single one. And I said it depends on the character. The more sprites they have, that's obviously the more work for you. So that's what it is. You're going through and you're doing it to every single one. Every single one. So there's some characters who got over 1,000 sprites. It's gonna take you a while. So we did the eyes. Now what are we gonna do? Let's do the hair. So we see that the hair is this yellow right here. So hold up. So I use the pencil tool to enter the eyes because the eyes are so small. You're gonna need a little tiny brush, a little pixel of a thing anyways. Certain items on a character may be annoying, but it depends on you. Like for example, his eyebrow, that's right here. For things that are small like this, you need to use a small little pixel thing, because if you don't, then you're gonna accidentally change other parts of his face, for example. So you may have to do it pixel by pixel on certain things. But usually when I first start a CS, I just get the eyes out of the way, and then I just go to the next thing, whatever that is. It's like up to you. I usually start with the hardest thing first, just to get it out of the way. Then the rest of it is gonna kind of be a breeze, because as you continue separating, for example, you see how his glove is right next to his jeans? They're the same thing. So you're gonna have to specifically make sure your brush does not overlap the jeans. You get what I mean? So as you continue to separate things, it'll be easy for you, because let's look at his pants, for example. His pants, his shoes, and then the white of his shoes, his sneakers basically, right? So once you separate his jeans, well, because look, basically I was trying to say that Terry has something separating the next item. So his shoes are in between the bottom of his sneakers. So it's easier for you to say, if there was a character who had the same color jeans as they had their shoes, it would be that much more difficult for you to do it. So because he has something in between separating these two items already, it's just a little bit easier, because you don't have to worry about any conflict when you're separating. Because you see, for example, if all of this were the same, I would have to adjust my brush accordingly to fit within each of these little pixels to worry about not changing this other part. But because he has an item that's splitting the two, it makes it a little bit easier. So you will come across characters who have sprites like that. They basically have items dividing certain like things on themselves that will make it easier for you. But there's some characters out there who have a single color outfit for everything: their upper body, lower body, shoes, everything. Those are what I like to call the advanced characters, and you're definitely going to be doing it with a small brush, trying to just get through it without making it, like, you know, making it overlap. So anyways, let's get back to what we're doing. So I picked the hair, and down here you guys can see the rectangle. It's like a little square around it. It highlighted because it showed me where that color was. So now I have it highlighted. I'm gonna click on it with the remap pen. Doesn't matter what side you put it on. That means I'm gonna swap it with another color of my choosing. So now I have it chosen. So now I'm gonna go up here and pick the color that I want to have for the hair, for that color, and then I select it. So using the remap pen, because the yellow, because he's turning this other way, remember how we had said that the belt buckle also was shared with the hair on these? He's facing the other way, so the belt buckle isn't showing, so you don't have to worry about it changing any other colors, because this is the only item on himself that uses this yellow. So I can easily just do this, you see, and not worry about anything. It's not going to change anything. So once again, I go back, I do this, look, it's not going to change anything but the color that I selected, right? But let's go to another example. This right here is, looking at it, is the second color of his skin, and let's click right here. So this is the first color, this is the second color, right? So this means that his skin color is shared with his hair. So let's try the same thing we just did. I'm gonna right click here on this color that was chosen and on the next color for the hair that I want to change. So we do the same thing and go through like this. You see what I mean? It's going to change his skin as well. So you can't just do it like that. That means when you're doing it, you have to be a little bit more careful. Oops. So you would just basically stay within this area. But you see, I have to avoid the face when I do this. That's why you will have to adjust your brush size when you're doing it. Brush size, whatever you're using. I mean, square, whatever. You get it. But anyways, we see how it is like that. We don't have to worry about changing anything. So let's go to the next color here. So next is another color of our skin once again. And then we're gonna choose this third color here, and we're just gonna stay within the area as to not get over here and mess up with that. So getting it all good right here, and then boom, there we go. Probably change that one pixel right there, but whatever. Let's see. All right, but yes, that's basically it. So we changed the hair. Let's go to the next thing. I'm going to change the arms. So I'm gonna highlight with the remap pen all of the shades on the arm, and I'm gonna choose whatever colors I have set aside for this, and I'm gonna select those. So I'm just gonna use this green, even though I know on mine I use it for the pants, but I'm gonna use this for the arms. So remember on here, what we want, like the new color we want, and what we're changing it from. This is what the remap pen does. It makes it so you're only gonna change the colors that you have assigned here on the side. So I will just go over the arms and you'll see it will change the arms. Just like that. And remember, because the skin is shared all over for him, it will change his face as well if I did that. But we want his face to be a separate color, and if you wanted to change his fingers as well, you wouldn't want to make them the same green, you would want to make them a different color. So let's use a different color that's also right here. So we're going to change that green to this purple over here, and then boom. Now he has a different color for his fingers. And the purpose of that is, what if you want him to have full gloves instead of the fingerless ones? That's your thought process. You could just make various different color variations depending on how much you separate on a character. Your goal is to separate as much as possible. So we did that. Now we're going to separate his gloves from his pants. So same thing here. I'm gonna select the colors that I want to change it to, then I'm going to select the colors of his jeans. To find out where they are on the table, remember, using the color picker, I select it here and it shows me it starts from here. It doesn't start from these two whites in front of it. It starts from right here, these four. So I'm going to open up the remap pin here and right click 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so now that those are selected, I can either do the jeans or the gloves. The gloves are smaller, and I'm just gonna do those first. So there we go. And there we go. The gloves are now separate from the jeans. And you would basically just continue to go on with this and change it until everything is separated. This right here, this blue, it can be the jeans or it can be the belt. But anyways, yes, that is what you're doing, separating it. And look, we go to a different palette here from the original. These are like this because these are now separate items. They're not shared with this anymore. And like I said, to make colors, we already went over that, but very quickly we'll try to make another color. But anyways, I'm just gonna use the same thing we did before. And hold up, let me open that tool. I forget that window goes all crazy when you do that. Advanced palette editor, open it, I'm just gonna do a very simple color because it's up to you how creative you want to get. I'm gonna go blue. Boom. But you see, with this separation, he can have it so his hat is a different color. It doesn't have to be all blue. So you can do things like that. So that is your goal with separation. And that's gonna be it for this guide. Hopefully that helped you out. I'll try to get short and straight to the point. Rewind it if you need to hear any of that again. And it's very simple. If you want to make pals, people make these color separations and you can just help them out. You can help me out by making pals, etc. And hopefully this helped you guys out again, like I said, and thank you. I'll see you guys in the next video.